So that's why I do have to press this go live. You're live. Oh, I hate that thing. Perfect.
All right. I already saw one of my people in chat when you gave me a little peek in there.
I love it. And they can hear you. So say hi.
Hi, Norma.
I love it. Hello, everyone. Okay, let's get this kicked off because I don't want to do CPT today. I'm going to be on time.
I already saw one of my people in chat when you gave me a little peek in there.
Okay. I love it. And they can hear you. So say hi.
Hi, Norma.
Okay, let me mute that on my end so we don't hear that.
Is there just a little lag, Alex?
Oh, yeah, there's going to be lag.
Yeah.
Perfect. Awesome. Welcome to Demo Day, everybody. This is my favorite time of the year, or one of the times of the year. I'm so happy you guys are with us and get shit done. If you have not been to a demo day, you're in for a treat. And for those of you that have been with us before, welcome back. You know it gets lit, so let's have some fun. It's a nice midday treat for you to see what these amazing founders are up to. Before we get started, I want to introduce myself and get shit done. I'm Alex Batdorf. I'm the founder and CEO of Get Shit Done. What the hell is Get Shit Done? Why did I start it? I'm a 3-time entrepreneur. My first 2 companies were more in the VC space. So I have failed and scaled. I have bootstrapped and I have raised venture dollars. But right before I left my last company, I found that one of the biggest issues in the space and most untapped economic opportunity were female entrepreneurs. So we really wanted to dive into what is really the issue here. And it's not investor checks. That is a very small percentage of people. We found that women make up nearly 50% of entrepreneurs, but our companies only generate around 4% of total business revenues. That's insane, but also it kind of sucks. Actually, it really sucks, but it's a huge opportunity. So that's what we lean into with Get Shit Done. It's making sure that we are giving female founders the power and optionality to choose how they scale through traction by really focusing on the thing that is going to help you be a partner and not a pawn at the table, regardless of whether you go get a check or whether you get partnerships. It's really about putting the founder in the driver's seat, because we believe if we put founders first, everybody wins. Everybody. So I want to kick us off here so you guys get excited about Demo Day, see these amazing women and what they're building. A couple of rules here and how this works. I know you all got your emails, but just a quick recap. So this is a founders accelerator. This is not a VC accelerator. We do not care about unicorns. I don't really care about them going. It's about scaling and the ability to scale successfully. It's not just about growing big to grow big. It's about, can you do it successfully, scalably, and sustainably? So our founders will be judged on their ability to scale. That can be millions or that can be billions, but it doesn't have to be a unicorn. That is not what we're judging them on. Each of our founders, it's really fun because none of them know what order they're going to pitch in. So it's going to be a nice surprise to everybody except me and my team, obviously. So each founder will have 3 minutes to pitch, and we are doing it all in random order. And then each of our judges, which we will introduce here shortly, they will have 1 minute to judge or ask clarifying questions or give comments to each of the founders. And then the audience, this is where it gets really fun. You guys are also a part of Demo Day. So this is very interactive. We are going to be selecting one question from you after each of our founders pitch, and we will ask it to the founder from our end. So make sure that you put those questions in the comments. It will all be random. And then my team, Amora, she will be putting in those reminders to ask questions so we can make the selections, and then she'll pass it off to me. And so just so you guys know, there are so many incredible people in the audience, like so many movers and shakers. This is a great opportunity for you all to connect with each other because we've been in quarantine. And I feel like we all need a hug and to meet new people. So meet each other. So in the comments right now, put your name, your role, company, whatever you want to explain or put in about yourself. You'll probably be like, oh my God, that person's, or you'll be like, hey friend, I know you, or hey, I want to be your friend. So that's what we're here for. Network with other amazing people. We have an incredible network of movers and shakers that are here to watch these women slay. And then after each of our pitches, after we go through the last one, we will have our scoring. We will tally up what our judges' final scores are. And then again, this is where we need audience participation. We are going to be sending out a link to you for your favorite pitch, and we will have a people's choice. So make sure you stick around for that because we're going to need your insight on who you really want to see win People's Choice Award. And so before we kick off these pitches, I want to quickly introduce our amazing, amazing judges. First is Nicole. Nicole, can you give us who you are, your role quickly, and then also why traction matters to you?
Wow. I'm Nicole Loftus. I'm the founder and CEO of Skin Enterprises. I am an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur. My first business disrupted a $20 billion industry. It was a tech model that became number 8 on the Inc. 500 list of fastest growing companies. I raised, I think, about 14 million in venture capital there and learned all the lessons of what not to do, which is why I launched Skin in the Game and SkinX, which is a new fund model that gets every American in the game investing in entrepreneurs. And why traction matters. It's all that matters. It's everything. It's no matter what else happens in your business, whatever pandemic or market disruption happens, if you have traction, you have everything. I know that's oversimplifying it, but it is absolutely the truth.
The most simple things are the way to go. So thank you, Nicole. We're so happy you're here.
Same
And our next judge, Denisha, please tell us who you are, your role, and why traction matters to you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Excited to be here. My name is Denisha. I work with early stage founders at Grasshopper Bank, which is a digital first venture bank, banking innovative companies such as the ones we're going to see today. Traction matters because I think that when we think about sustainability and actually building businesses that are around for a long time and not only, of course, have great results for the founders, but also the world that we live in and serve, that unless we're building something that people want and driving towards a solution to people's problem, then the business isn't really there. So.
Facts. Thanks, Denisha. So happy you're here. And last but certainly not least is Miss Rochelle.
Hello. All right. Hopefully my audio is okay here. Hi, everyone. Rochelle Stewart. So right now I'm transitioning between jobs, but I'm currently hard at work doing angel investing, and I'm in the process of launching an angel syndicate made up of Black women who are investing in early stage businesses. So my mission is to increase diversity on cap tables and in boardrooms, and I have a 15 years of experience in corporate America, Wall Street, as an operator in media and marketing. So I'm just using all of that to find interesting founders and excited to hear from some of you. So really want to wish you all the best of luck. Oh, traction. That's what I was going to answer. So on the note of traction, I was like, that's it. No, that's not it. As it pertains to traction, I mean, I'm such a data geek and a numbers geek. I think of traction as kind of like one of many data points, right? It's your data set that can be used to build your strategy. So of course, you know, as Nicole mentioned, and as Denisha alluded to as well, it's important for the reason of substantiating your business. But I think it's like, wow, now I actually have a data set to work from because I have some traction. And now what do I do to build my business and build that growth plan on top of it? So that's what I like about it.
Well put. So happy you're here. Thank you. Awesome. And you guys will get to meet every single one of these founders as they start to pitch. So in the comments, let us know that you're ready so we can get this started. All founders and judges, quick reminders, please keep yourself on mute while other people are pitching. And we are going to kick this off. And with our drum roll of who our first founder is to pitch, I'm going to do my own little drum. Kelly from Handheld Handmade.
Yay! It would help to share my screen.
Yes.
You all. All right. Hi, I'm Kelly. Let's talk about your phones. How many of you text? Yeah. How many of you find joy in shopping on your phone? If you, yeah, all right, yeah, I heard this a little bit. But you are like, I don't know. It's because shopping online and particularly on your phone is a ridiculous, overwhelming process of too much choice. Have you ever sat on your couch, your phone in hand, and been sucked into the endless scroll that is Instagram or the rabbit hole that is Etsy, trying to find quality handmade goods from passionate makers? It's time consuming, it's overwhelming. Handmade marketplaces are overly cluttered and you're often unsure of the quality. And if you do find something of interest, checkout can be convoluted or the form isn't mobile friendly. Handheld Handmade puts the delight back into shopping. On the device you're mostly on, your phone, we make it fun and easy and delightful. We do this with a curated text message feed of jewelry, home goods, paper goods, and accessories from high quality makers. In fact, 98% of text messages are opened. Can you even imagine that open rate on email? Text messaging is powerful. I'm also very passionate about handmade goods. I believe there's something uniquely wonderful about pieces created by a designer spent years perfecting and honing their craft, but also the fact that Etsy continues to have blockbuster sales doesn't hurt either. And the fact that millennials put a premium on authentic, handmade, locally produced goods, and they want to feel good about what they buy. So what's our opportunity here? E-commerce market share continues to climb and mobile sales continue to go up across e-commerce, and both have soared during COVID. An example of this is Etsy reported $2.7 billion in gross merchandising sales in the second quarter of this year alone. This represents a $1.9 billion opportunity for Handheld. When you join Handheld, you start by filling out a profile so you can decide what you see, when you want to see it, and always within your budget. You then receive your curated handmade finds twice a week. And once you activate your account, the transaction process takes place entirely within your text messaging app. No more fumbling for your wallet, you simply reply buy. My customers are busy women who want to shop their values now more than ever, especially during COVID. Or I just call her Sam. This is Sam. Our customers love us so much, we have a repeat customer rate of 45%. And on a recent campaign, we achieved a quarter of our campaign goal on the first day from VIP customers alone, and then doubled our sales goal with only outreach to our current customer base. Our goal is to continue to grab market share in our curated handmade market by expanding our offerings to partner with organizations whose events have continued to suffer under COVID, develop unconventional pop-up opportunities, and expand our top of the funnel with traditional e-commerce arm. So what makes us unique? I've been working in the craft community for over 15 years. I co-founded a membership organization for creatives, been on countless market and fair juries, spoken at conferences, and authored a book on starting and growing a handmade business. And collectively, our team has 30 years working on SMS and 45 years of experience with small business. If you're ready to be delighted, please text handmade to 202-800-9191 and start getting delightful handmade vibes texted to you twice a week. Thank you.
I need to kick it off with you. That was awesome. Please
sharing.
Go down to the bottom here to the Zoom. Here, I'm gonna
Wait, there it is.
Awesome. Show us your beautiful face. All right, judges, you can go in whatever order you'd like. Any comments or questions you have for Kelly, and then audience, whatever questions you have, put them in the comments now so we can select one.
Oh, wait, Nicole, I think you were speaking, but you are on mute, so I'll let you go ahead.
Unmute. You're so nice, Rochelle. Thank you. Yeah, my question is, so how much traction do you have at this point? Where are you on the scaling timeline right now?
So beginning of this year, we were increasing our customer base at a pretty like decent for just kind of gaining traction. And then when COVID hit, I really decided to focus completely on our current customer base and really focus in on what they have wanted to see from us. And that's where I've seen really great growth, especially in our revenue. We were able to partner with a small local organization in San Francisco when their events got canceled, and did a great small unconventional pop-up, and saw some great revenue through that. And then just did a really great campaign where, again, we were completely focusing on our current customer base, where we were able to double our goal.
Great. I love it. I think it's a great business, and I think it's exciting, and the fact that you knew how to take partners and make this timing work is impressive.
Thank you.
So I have two questions. Great presentation so far. Way to kick it off. So I wrote down, when you mentioned your customer profile, shopping their values is kind of, how you're defining them. So can you just say a bit more about what you mean? Because when I think of the Etsy experience, I think, discovery is one of the biggest challenges. And so, number one, how are you tapping into what those values are and what that means for how they discover the products that matter? And then I would just love to hear, what does a typical basket look like for someone who would be shopping via text, which is a completely different experience?
Sure. So on the first side, when you, for me, I'm very much immersed in this world, and I started having trouble having that discoverability myself. And again, just got completely overwhelmed with Instagram, with Etsy itself. And I was like, okay, how do I condense this? And how do I make it bite-sized and easily understandable? And I'm the one that goes out and does the curation. I'm the one that goes out and finds the people and the makers and the product. So all of our product is of high quality. I ensure that it's high quality. And so once you join, you're able to say what you are interested in within 4 different categories. You can set your budget depending on which category. Like your jewelry budget is probably going to be a little bit higher than, say, your paper goods budget. And then maybe your style as well. And then from there, we kind of match you on the back end of available inventory. And then what you purchase is you get sent a product twice a week. And actually, during COVID, I've been doing bundles. So it's between 2 and 3 products. And my customers have been very, very excited about that. So it's either a single item or a small little collection of items. And it's just one transaction.
Oh, Denisha?
I'd like to know what are your challenges for the next quarter? What's top of mind for you? If you could say your biggest challenge.
I think for me, it's always marketing, finding that good marketing mix, having a good understanding of how to communicate with potential customers, because this is a different way to discover new artists, discover new makers, as well as purchase. And so a lot of times I get, well, how do I download your app? And I'm like, well, it's not an app. And so it is a struggle to get the right messaging across.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. And then the question from the audience that I think is very topical right now, and I think Kelly does a great job of this, is when you are curating, how are you making sure to include Black and Indigenous designers / product providers?
Yeah, that's a great question. And actually, it's gotten a little bit harder right now because of just the current moment. Everyone is just overwhelmed with orders. And so reaching out to any new or amazing, I've had a list of makers that just because I have not been able to do outreach on and bring them on yet. And it's like the timing right now is both amazing and also unfortunate, just because they are completely overwhelmed with orders that while they are on my list, I'm not actually able to onboard them at the moment. But it's definitely top of the line, top of the mind to make sure that the curation is diverse.
Thank you so much, Kelly. That was great. Amazing. Now for our next founder, Brittany from B&D Consulting.
I knew it.
She's ready. She's, first of all, fun fact about Brittany, she is always early and usually is on mute because she forgets to unmute herself, but this time she's on it.
Precisely. Okay, let's do this. All right. Once my computer decides to cooperate with me and load my pitch.
Okay.
The drama of it all.
That's what happens on demo day.
It's gonna blow your mind.
It will.
There we go. Okay. Hi, I'm Brittany, and I have kicked serious ass in the courtroom. Over time, it became clear that my Fortune 500 clients' biggest liability was company culture and the values driving it. And this is why I founded B&D Consulting Group, to help companies shift the way their current culture affects their bottom line. Companies waste up to $550 billion per year on disengaged employees. Now let's compare that with what we know. 75% of employees agree that company culture drives employee engagement, although less than a third of those employees believe their own organizations have a strong culture. Meanwhile, over 70% of millennials employees cite company culture as a deciding factor when accepting job offers. That's over half of the US workforce. And by 2025, it will be 75% of employees around the world. So what's a company to do? First, lay a foundation of core values and embed that into the company's culture. Now, as a company grows, we see there's an infrastructure that can withstand economic downturns, social movements, and yes, even global pandemics. And think about this. Engaged employees can increase a company's profit by 3% with just an extra 15 minutes of productivity per day. So if you're earning over $1 million in revenue, that's $30,000. Now, our client services model allows us to assess the current climate, align leadership with the articulated core values, and design a culture that provides a consistent and scalable framework for decision-making. Now, with a legal, risk management, and engagement background, I've sat at nearly every seat at the table, and it's this 360-degree approach to culture creation that distinguishes B&D. We don't churn out mass reproductions of existing models, but instead work to construct a team architecture that's uniquely suited for you so that you measure what matters. Now, our services are best suited for companies who are either in Series A or Series B stages of funding, have between 100 to 150 employees, and are really on the cusp of that hockey stick trajectory. These companies will spend over $166 billion this year on leadership training and an additional $8 billion on diversity training alone. That's a lot of money to spend on data for the sake of data and a massive opportunity to provide strategic solutions. We expect to scale our revenue to $500,000 within the next 3 years and are already well on the way. So here's my ask. Take a moment. Think of 1 to 2 companies that are likely to grow quickly, but aren't confident in their company culture, companies that are looking to attract and retain the best talent, and companies seeking to weave culture into the fabric of their day-to-day decision-making. Write down this information here and share it with them. Thank you for your consideration. My name is Brittany Hale of B&D Consulting Group, where we bring humanness to organizational design.
Please unshare your screen and show your beautiful face, please.
Shall do.
And I'm living for the comments about your background. People are like, Zam, girl. I love it. All right, judges, and then audience, please have your questions ready. Judges, let's kick it off with Denisha this time.
Yeah, great to meet you, Brittany, and thanks so much for the presentation. I'd love to understand a little bit more your pipeline and also your client acquisition strategy.
Yeah, so my client acquisition strategy to date really has been word of mouth, but at this point, really engaging with employee resource groups and working with various startups and nonprofits. Right now at this point, of course, everyone's really in this moment of trying to figure out how to adjust their models to a global pandemic. And we've been receiving a lot of inquiries about some of our COVID workplace assessments that we've adapted to meet the needs of our current customers.
I have less questions and more feedback. I absolutely love what you're doing. I think it's so necessary, but it was funny to listen. I assumed you were going after Fortune 200s or bigger companies, and to see your laser focus on these smaller companies and then to see what the numbers roll up to be on the impact was, I mean, mind blowing to me. And I just love it. I love your laser focus. I commend you for it. I think and I'll love to talk to you offline about this. I have some ideas on how you can source these companies that need your help. There's resources all over the country that help growing businesses. And they could be just the best feeder for your business. And my other thought, I'd love to know what other judges think too, is I'm wondering if consulting is the right name and the right term for what you do. People put consulting in such a bucket, and I worry that might prevent you from having traction and scaling because they automatically make an opinion about what you do. I don't think you're consulting. I think you have a secret sauce, a mix, and a way of doing things. I don't know. I'd love to see what the other judges think too, but that's, I love what you're doing. I think it's needed and important, and I think you'll have nothing but scalability and traction.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I actually, I am the chief culture architect, and it's really what's happening there. So
Good.
Awesome. Love your energy. Great presentation. And I second sort of what Nicole mentioned around sort of thinking about the name. I wasn't too stuck on that, but the delivery model was going to be my question. In some ways, they're kind of closely tied together.
Yes.
You know, very clear to me what you bring to the table, but the how you go do it, right? Are you coming in with are you the anchor, the idea person, the visionary, and then you're managing this ninja team that goes in and just kind of dives in to do that assessment. And then what is it, a consulting model, because you need these teams to kind of pop in and pop out, and what does a typical engagement kind of look like if that's the case? So I have a question around the delivery model. And for me, that would sort of shed light on the my viewpoint on scalability, because of course it's closely tied. How long do you see yourself working with a particular client from day one to exit, in terms of how long you'd be focused on them?
Yeah, so I do provide this strategy, and I do have some data analysts that sort of do the numbers work, right? And really what I provide is, again, that strategy that we work forward with. And then, and moving forward, I'm sorry, can you repeat the last part of your question?
Just kind of your delivery model. How long might you see yourself engaged with any particular client?
So ideally, when we go in, I tell them I need 18 months.
Gotcha.
That's going to provide enough time for us to get in, assess where you are, pulse your clients or your employees as we're working point by point. And then if we need to pivot, we need to change the strategy a little bit, we have enough time to do that and then go forward.
Mm-hmm. And if you were to say, this will be my last question, 18 months for one client, let's say, it sounds like you're in the incipient stages, so you have not launched with any clients yet, right?
Oh, no, I have. Yes.
Oh, you have? Okay. So how many? Sorry,
that's why the 18 months actually I find is really the sweet spot. And then after that point, if they want sort of ongoing support where we provide, let's say quarterly workshops or assessments or anything like that, that's really what we provide, that supplemental support.
Great. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your last question from the audience, great one from Tiffany H. How do you connect D&I in a way that goes beyond that profitability factor? Everyone wants to talk about the bottom line, but how do you make sure employees are actually valued?
Yeah, and that's a great one. You know, I was actually just speaking with a startup about really implementing equity. And what I'm seeing right now is a lot of companies are really having to go back to their core values and reassess them and say, okay, now how do I take this value and make it an operational value and build it into my system so that we're not just, you know, we're not using a hashtag, we're not doing a LinkedIn post, but every department within our organization, our CFO, all the way down, you know, to our employees understand how this is informed. It's not about compliance. It's not about metrics. It's really about providing a space where employees, regardless of their background, ability, or physical appearance, can show up and do their best work.
Awesome. Great work. Next founder is Miss Carolina from Common Marker. Please share your screen, Queen. You might be on mute.
There we go.
Awesome.
Okay. When you think about technology and special and entertainment, you're probably thinking about special effects. You're probably thinking about young Simba here or Daenerys' dragons in Game of Thrones. But this is what a real film set looks like. And reality is always a little less glamorous. But even on your biggest Marvel blockbuster, their system is completely paper-based. All the information on set currently is distributed and managed through Microsoft Excel and a Xerox machine, and that's not a joke. The production office spends countless hours updating and managing their Excel sheets to try to track their day. And the problem with this system is the information is out of date as soon as it's printed. And so that adds a lot of delays and mistakes, which cost the production money at all levels. My name is Carolina Johansson, and my company is Common Marker, and we're empowering the next generation filmmakers to succeed. It is our belief that the next director hasn't made their first movie yet. So how do we help these budding filmmakers? Well, we built a platform that is easy to use and has a powerful backend that tallies all their camera setups, their sound, their pages and scenes all in one place. So it distributes the information where it needs to go. Our target audience is the biggest untapped resource in filmmaking right now, which is women. Right now, we only make up about 20% of the industry as writers, directors, and producers. Society is really shaped by the stories we tell, and we cannot change until our stories change. Our market size is huge and global. Hollywood is still one of the oldest, most profitable markets in the world, and we are headquartered right here in the middle of it. We have a monthly tiered-based pricing business model, so all levels of filmmakers can take benefit from our platform. Everyone from your weekend warriors to your nuts and bolts. However, the larger productions would see larger savings. We already have some traction and we have a working product, and we are partnering with filmmakers right here in Los Angeles. And we're really excited to be able to give this tool into the hands of content creators. And I've assembled a great team with over 45 years of combined experience in marketing, software development, IT, and of course, film production. And my own 10 plus years of graphic design and user experience has been poured into this platform to not only make it visually stunning, but really easy to use. And so we're seeking content creators that want to partner with us. This platform really hinges on the industry to want to drive it forward. And so we're building this tool for creatives by creatives. So inertia has shielded Hollywood from process innovation for decades, and it is ripe for some positive disruption. Thank you.
Awesome. Great work. Please unshare your screen and show your beautiful face. And let's start with Rochelle. Questions, comments for this founder?
Sure. So I feel like this was the perfect one for me to start with because having come from media, I spent 7 years at Condé Nast. I worked with so many creators, and I would say this is certainly a need, not just in the film industry, but social media managers, content creators, video producers, predators. I mean, they have so many different names. I definitely think you've nailed it on really the chaos and the mess that can come with disorganized kind of sets. And I love what you're doing. So my first question would be just in terms of, and then I would say, feel free to follow up and we should talk offline because I certainly have a list of people that I could introduce you to just for your ask about content creators. So with that, my question would be, you really have honed in on kind of the filmmaking industry, and it probably does look a lot different than like an industry like social media or kind of more short form video. But have you what are your thoughts on that? And if you haven't chose to focus there, I'm just curious to know kind of why not. And I'm sure you have given that thought, but I just like to tap into your brain on that.
Of course. The way our product is structured right now is more for script-based content. So if you're running scenes and actors and you're having people show up at the same place, our product, I would say, is in that like sweet spot for you. You could absolutely use it for social media content and short form, any form content. Like it really, our promise is no more spreadsheets, just filming days. So even if you're just doing one filming day, like you would be able to use our platform.
Awesome. Thank you.
But we are working on expanding to non-structured content. So if you are doing documentaries or reality TV or stuff that's not scene-based, you would be able to use it as well.
I'm happy to go next. Great to meet you and really enjoyed your presentation. I'd like to kind of talk about the customers and segmentation. I know that this tool is able to help a lot of different creators at different stages of their journey. But as you think about growing the business and customer acquisition, curious what segment you're most focused on and what your plan to acquire that customer segment is.
I would say my sweet spot are these independent filmmakers that are a little bit like they're kind of rogue agents. They work for themselves typically. They are very project-based. We are also targeting small to medium production companies. They don't always have the big budgets to hire all the people that are needed. So good project management is really valuable to them, just so they can use that product dollars more efficiently for stuff that actually appears on camera. And so one of the things I like to tell them is, good project management doesn't sound super sexy, but it really makes the difference of getting your movie into that film festival or getting that pilot picked up. So it helps you use your money more efficiently.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is really hitting home for me. I'm launching a television show about our fund and meeting all these film producers and realizing all the different pieces that go into it. And it also hits home for me because all the tech I'm building for my fund is because the finance industry has always done everything manually. And what you've discovered is one more thing that people do manually and they do it poorly. And you're now finding a way to do it better. And I did that with my first company. I do not like the idea of going to small companies to start, because as you said in one of your slides, and you're right on the money, that the efficiency you create is not really going to be felt with the little guys, but the big guys. If you get one or two big guys, not that you have to, the dollars you'll save them and the time you'll save them is substantial and is defendable for your fee. I don't know what you charge for this. I don't have any idea what the economics of this are. But I think what you're doing is needed and a must have. I worry that you're going after grand base hits instead of grand slams. And that's not about becoming a unicorn or going after a big market. I'm just talking about traction with one client that could be just as easy to close as the little guy. And your impact is so much bigger. And that leads to other bigger, you could prove that out. But what is the economics of it? How do you make money?
So it is a monthly subscription Like I said,
Okay.
we have an individual pricing
did.
or an enterprise pricing. Yeah. So we have it tiered up. So like a big production company or a film studio, like, I mean, they would basically get white labeled everything and unlimited, everything they want.
Yeah, I like it. I'd love, again, just like Rochelle, I'd love to talk to you offline and see how I can help.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Love this collaboration. Great work, Carolina.
Thank you.
All right. Next founder, please share your screen. Corinne from Shakti Bar.
Thank you. Just a sec. Getting it all loaded up.
Who we should all be jealous of because she's in Hawaii.
Come on. How you gonna do that to me? Oh man. Just a moment. Okie doke. Okay, thumbs up if you can see my presentation, please, or a peace sign, or both hands up to take a stretch because we're about to talk about fitness. Woo!
Girl.
Awesome. I'm also going to move this chat over just a little bit. So sorry about having your faces, and set my timer. So everybody just close your eyes for a moment. Yes, and take a nice, believable breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Ooh, make some sounds, some fierce, let go type of sounds. I'm starting now. What is, open those eyes, the Shakti Bar app? Essentially, Shakti Bar is the boutique bar fitness app with purpose. I just would like to add that one of the greatest reasons why fitness clients return to a studio is because of their higher purpose there, such as spirituality or connections, while as they come in for flexibility and they come in for strength. So we're all about retaining clients and making sales long-term. Some of our milestones have been, we're included in Self Magazine's award of being amongst the top 9 women nationwide making an impact in fitness. We've been in Vogue, we've been in Bustle, we've been in Reebok, all the things, but really our interest is impact. So let's get to that. The challenge. So the challenge is that bar fitness is growing ridiculously. Actually, it's growing even more because of the pandemic. How many of you are working out at home or taking a nap at home and just calling it a workout? Because hey, like it's good, it's cool. So it's growing by about 141%. The boutique fitness app market is 2.4 billion. Sorry, the fitness app, and the boutique fitness market is 27 billion. So what am I basically saying? This is a huge opportunity, massive. And if you draw your eye to the right side of the screen to just 2 examples out of dozens, Bar 3 and Tone It Up are making anywhere between 13.5 million and $55 million a year. I would also like to add one of my other competitors called Extend Bar, who actually reached out to us thinking that they could buy us out. But we want to do our own thing because we have a completely different mission. So let's get to that. The problem is that bar fitness honestly targets, let's just call it, rich white women. 44% of them make over 75K annually, and 76% are white. Let that sink in for a second. Let the feeling come in, the piss offness, whatever comes in. How we solve this problem? We address the other 56%, and we have a sliding scale price model as well. So we have a sliding scale price model. We have a very eclectic and inclusive team, and thus you have the purpose and why people continue to come back to Shakti Bar. We've had over 25,000 clients in 4 years. We're 4 years next week because of sliding scale and a physically and culturally accessible team. We will launch our app with Forte, who, by the way, for anybody out there that's doubting tech, they've already designed it. So we don't need to do any sort of design work. We just need to plug in the content, which will be 30 to 40 pre-recorded videos on a subscription model. And we beta tested over the last 5 months in quarantine, which you can see tons of 5-star reviews on the website, such as these. Last but not least, to close, you can see our ability to scale goes from a very conservative model of about 200 subscribers in year 1, all the way up to almost 7,000, pushing us to over $1 million company pretty quick. We're asking right now for only $300K. I would also like to add that so much of that is just the marketing budget. We've never had a marketing budget. So we've been able to achieve all this fitness with no marketing budget, which is why I also want to add, if anyone's interested, we also have a second proposal, which is well over 300K. And to put a point on it, it would include props and protein powder to keep up with the best of them. So thank you very, very much. My name is Corinne. I'm joined by my team. There's Shawnee on the right, Portia, a beautiful team of teachers, and one of our advisors is a very famous yoga lady who is also exquisitely interested in keeping it real and keeping it inclusive while also knowing what it takes to scale.
Thanks, Queen. Please
Thank you.
share your screen and show us your beautiful face.
Absolutely.
And kick it off with Nicole.
I love it. You just taught me so much. I learned so much in that
Thank
first
you. And I'm
few
going to take
minutes.
notes.
Yes.
If that's okay.
It's fascinating. And I never thought about some of the things you were pointing out.
Thank you, Nicole.
And good for you and all these years and the traction you have. I think that's great. And good for you that there's no marketing. My question is, how so are you focused on the app, or are you also planning to get back into a brick and mortar situation? Are you pivoting to app permanently, or what are you thinking post COVID? Do you want to get back into actual real brick and mortar? Maybe that's a stupid question. Maybe that's obvious.
Honestly, it's not at all, by the way, Nicole. And I'm so glad, we always, as fitness folk right now, we think we're the only ones that know what's going on because it's so cutthroat. So I'm so happy that you do know and are making a concerted effort towards expanding accessibility to women's fitness. To answer your question, with this proposal and also with the potentially larger one that includes the props and the protein powder, we are only putting this money toward our app. We actually wiggled down the subscription fee from Forte from $10 a subscriber to $5. We're also all about the negotiating factor of making even more money than was conservatively proposed. That being said, we are one of 4 fitness studios still standing left in our neighborhood. 65 places have closed. So right now we're in the process of using a portion of our savings, not any future investment, and money that we raised specifically for brick and mortar, which is about $75,000 over the last 4 years, to try to revive that. We understand not only it's really important to be in person to explain this whole thing and show how it works, but it's a really awesome advertising stamp to make sure you still have some sort of brick and mortar, as well as a place that you can film. Feel free to see our website. The space is beautiful. We built it from scratch. And so we kind of see that as a cost savings as well, to be able to keep it instead of renting out from a big New York or LA film studio. So doing both. However, I would also like to say that within about a year's time, because our lease is up, if it looks like trying to maintain our lease would have any sort of negative effect on our app, we're going to pause for sure. There would be no reason to keep both going if they would implicate one another negatively.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole, so much. Appreciate you.
I'm happy to
go next. What's the onboarding and due diligence process for instructors, given that instructors are so critical to the culture and kind of the product of what you're building? Curious how you bring them onto the platform.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's very important. We've gone through several iterations over the years. Majorly, it hits upon these points. Instructors are usually referred to us. That's number one, so that they're referred by our current teaching team who already is very deeply immersed in the mission. Secondly is, we haven't brought on a lot of new instructors in a while because we really focus on retention. Back to that first part of your question, we have several onboarding metrics. One is all of our instructors go through a studio inclusivity course that was designed by our manager, Portia, and actually consulted by one of my fellow peers here, Brittany. Awesome for that quality control. So it's been upgraded, basically. They also go through mental health training, also go through safety training, especially now Oh my gosh. And they also go through sales and marketing training and all that because we want to increase their income as much as possible by teaching them about how to retain clients. Last but not least, because you can see I can nerd about this all day, they also go through a psychology of language training that includes things like how to talk about the body in a way that is not diminutive, that's not saying let's just all get smaller, in a way that's choosing music that's not, for example, like explicit rap music right now during a time where not everybody could really set the stage to play that music. So we really go through every possible thing that could make us non-inclusive. And I also want to just hit upon that with onboarding teachers. We absolutely are continuously evolving that program. For example, we're just now creating more of an LGBTQ onboarding aspect as well. We were always about it, but we understand that as the times evolve and we see what we should have done, et cetera, that program will continue to build. And last, just as a former teacher, you know, they get a PowerPoint, they get a demo, they get quizzed, they get checked in on. We have a 5-week PD program for any teachers who aren't doing as well on our little spreadsheet. They go through a very awesome cycle of growth if they need any help in those areas or just being a rad teacher.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Great. So I think my video. Hello.
Hi.
So I have to say that I'm actually an investor in Forte, so was really happy to hear you. I'm not so happy about the discounting, but that'll be a whole different story.
Absolutely.
Good for you for being a great negotiator. That's awesome. So I actually love bar, and it's so funny because I personally have given so much thought to that just in general, given like where I grew up and thinking about like literally my family and close people who, when I say I'm taking bar, they're like, what is that? They just literally have never heard of it. So I just love the mission around just inclusivity, both from a pricing perspective, demographics of who you're going after, and really believe in that in a big way. And so with that, I do want to better understand, as you think about this big virtual world where you can pretty much target anyone, how are you thinking about being smart in, I know you said you focused on retention, but as you look towards, the bigger picture of scaling, where do you see those pockets of opportunity to reach and engage, and where do they exist today? And then the second question I had was just around sort of like what customer engagement. I'm curious to know what has worked for you, because especially now that everyone is working out at home, there's, how do you get people to come back to, Shakti Bar and like always take the Tuesday, Wednesday class, as opposed to trying something new or wanting to sort of check out a new app? So love to just hear your thoughts at a high level on that, if you can share.
Yeah, thank you. So many good, really great questions. First of all, to your point about bar, I agree. It's amazing. I was a former athlete. It's the only workout that recruits 100% of your contractile tissue at one time. I don't know if there's all ladies here, so I'm just going to say it. It's like one big Kegel. Okay. So very effective. Yep. I said it. Hey, you too. Hey, mom. It really is. And so it's really effective, which kind of puts it in this like elite category of like, why do I have to pay so much to get the most effective workout? Depending on the results you're going for, because I wouldn't say it's the most effective in all contexts, but why does it cost so much, making it not accessible to everybody? So I hear you on that. And additionally, in terms of like what's been working right now, so you probably all are very well aware that social media marketing is having one of its highest returns than ever. It's actually kind of a tragic fact that back in the day, it wasn't quite as essential as now, which I myself work on our marketing and branding. So I'm like, what have I been doing the last 4 years? And it only matters now. But so much of that marketing outreach on social media is actually generating a return. So that we also do YouTube ads where people go to look. They always look for us on Pop Sugar. We did a video where I'm like really lame and like, hey, because it's, you just do what's in the moment if you're working with different companies. And I wasn't really feeling like, tongue out type of personality in that setting. They'll go to look for us and they'll see the ad, or they'll go to look for someone else and they'll see the ad. So YouTube or any other place that's already doing a lot of fitness marketing is really awesome and has been helpful. And we're engaging people by keeping up with the market. For example, I know you invest in Forte, so our app has not come out yet, of course, as you know, but we already filmed some pre-recorded videos after already live streaming for 5 months and having over 900 5-star reviews in just that 5 months. So we really are just like riding the wave of everything coming out, with the exception, we have not done outdoor classes. We personally feel, with keeping integrity to the mission, that I don't know about you, but every time I see a picture of a group of ladies working out, they just get closer and closer and closer. And I just can't put my baby, my daughter, my company, my family at risk. So we haven't done that. We'll revisit. And last but not least, I think another question that you were really interested in is, how do we keep that message going? So I handle a lot of the marketing myself, to be frank, but we also work with a company called Elixir Media. And anytime we get press, I am very insistent that they always include an and this, or a beyond the mat, or a beyond the bar message. So for example, Pop Sugar originally wanted to brand our video, how to get abs like while doing yoga or something. And I was like, no, girlfriend, we're gonna say empowering bar and yoga workout, something like that. Or when we were in Vogue, and for some reason, they took a beautiful picture of our whole team and we looked really awesome and vibrant together, but instead, they used a picture of Christy Turlington in a bikini for clickbait. I had some kind and honest words with them. So we are very up on our press. We always make sure it has a beyond the bar, beyond the mat mission. We even have a list of, like, if you're going to say abs, then you need to know multifidus, transverse abdominis, core center, sexual sacral chakra. You need to know all the other ways to describe the body, both in how we are publicized as well as how we teach. So yeah, it's a whole lot to think about, but it's really now become second nature in a way. And I hope and I pray that you'll see that if you just look on Instagram or our website, that it'll be really apparent some of the answers to your questions, because I see where your head's at and I want to stay there too.
Awesome. Great work.
Awesome.
And
Thank you, Rochelle.
Lots of questions. And for the audience, we're going to give you the ability to connect with the founders. So if your question wasn't answered, you can always connect with them and ask them. But question from the audience, and just as a reminder, everyone, let's try to do one question, since I know these founders are so amazing, but we want to make sure people can get back to work as well and see all the pitches. So this question is from Judith. How will you defend against existing or future competitors?
Hi, Judith. Thanks for your question. So far as we've seen, competitors of a similar nature are not yet out there. They either fall into one or of two categories. One would be more of a donation-based, 100% community-based center. And then the other, again, just kind of doesn't exist, because if you look at all of the most top funded bar companies, they are not fitting the metrics, the empowering metrics of cultural and socioeconomic inclusivity. So early on, we realized that, and we always have positioned ourselves right in the middle. If that time comes, which actually I really do hope it does, I feel, to put it succinctly, that because we've already been doing this is not new news to us, that we've got, for example, research at the new school, we've got 51 press hits, and we have over 40,000 reviews that average a 4.8. So I feel like we can really leverage our roots in this mission, maybe even help them, because I'm working on a book about this whole thing, and we'll see from there. There is enough bar to go around, is what I'll say at the end of the day.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Corinne.
Thank you all. I really love you and appreciate you.
Awesome. Thanks. Next founder is Kahindo, from her namesake, Kahindo. Please share your screen, Queen.
I knew how lucky I was growing up in a patriarchal society in the Democratic Republic of Congo. My father was always asked why he was investing in my sister and I's education when he could make money by marrying us off and getting the dowry. Thank God my father was a feminist and believed that all women deserve an equal opportunity. I want to give this same opportunity to women back home in Congo. Hello, my name is Kahindo, and I'm the founder of my namesake brand, which is a socially responsible women's wear brand that creates vibrant and wearable pieces inspired by my Congolese heritage and African upbringing. Our mission is to support ethical production and fair trade practices by partnering up with sewing co-ops and female artisans in Africa. The fashion industry has many problems. It lacks diversity and sustainable practices. Child labor is an issue. Less than 3% of retailers carry Black-owned brands. 90% of garment workers are women and are underpaid. Kahindo is the solution. We are ethically produced and sourced in Africa by female artisans. We align with 3 of the UN Sustainable Development Goals: gender equity and poverty and fair trade. And we offer inclusive sizing going up to size 22 and 2XL. We design wearable art with a social impact and collaborate with Africa to develop custom prints. Our business model is twofold: direct to consumer and wholesale distribution. We have had incredible traction this year with increased retail partnerships, the largest of which is Rent the Runway. We have also garnered wonderful press coverage, as you can see. Our growth strategy involves an investment in marketing to drive consumer sales. And on the wholesale side, we will participate in trade shows and marketplaces to increase distribution. The market is huge. 34 million women in the US consider themselves conscious consumers. There's an increased interest in ethical clothing and the 15% pledge, which has challenged retailers to stock more Black-owned brands. Our customer, as you can see, loves statement-making fashion and gravitates to bold colors and prints that make her look and feel good. Our strong female team has over 20 years experience in the fashion industry and can help us scale our business. By 2022, we plan on hitting nearly 2.5 million ARR through direct-to-consumer and wholesale sales. We will accomplish this by securing 50 new retailers and launching new product categories. We're looking for a strategic investor who can help us scale direct to consumer and has relationships with retailers. Our ask is $350,000. Thank you.
Awesome, great work. Please unshare your screen and show your beautiful face. Oh, you did it before I even said it. Love it. Awesome, let's start with Denisha. Go.
Hi, great to meet you and love what you're building. I'm first generation Ghanaian, and literally my uncle just brought like clothes I had tailored from Ghana last week, so I was very excited. And one of my friends is actually a model, Vanessa, so it was great to see her as well. So I'd like to kind of understand a little bit more as it relates to supply chain and how that fits in with your mission. I know it's core, making sure that the practices you're using to manufacture these clothes are sustainable. So kind of talk to me about how you're navigating that. I'm sure you've had increased challenges with everything going on with COVID and how that's impacted the business, but would like to understand a little bit more about how your supply chain actually works and maybe some reassurances you put in place in an event there is a gap in the supply chain.
Absolutely. So everything designed here in New York. And so for example, for our spring summer 2020 collection, we partnered up with a company, a nonprofit called Refugee, and they hand dyed fabric that was used in our collection by refugee women in Kenya. And then the fabric was sent to Congo, to actually my hometown, Goma, which is in the east of Congo. And the female artisans, made the dresses from that fabric. And then the finished pieces were shipped here in New York. And initially, we want to source, like I said, a lot of the fabric, from different African artisans. So we're looking, for example, at our next collection, sourcing cotton fabric from Ethiopia and then sending it to Congo to be made into the collection. And some of our production is still done in China, but we're looking to transition all of that to be 100% made in Africa.
Awesome, thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, I'll go next. I can't remember what order we're in. I'm sorry. I'm so excited. I love what you're doing. Thank you for being here. And I've cut my teeth on the apparel industry, so I know it well, and I know how broken it is. And again, like all of you, I'd love to connect with all of you after the fact and have separate chats. What is the use of funds on the 350,000?
Yes, so that's a great question, and nice to meet you, Nicole. So I'm currently a solo founder, and I do a lot of the work myself. So I need to build out my team in terms of like production, design, as well as implement and work with more artisans. The more I can sell, the more artisans I work with. I currently work with about 50, and for one dress basically gives them 1 day of work. So we want to expand that, as well as we've just started putting some money behind advertising. So, social media advertising, paid search, as well as on all of the different platforms, including Pinterest, Facebook, and Google. So, and working with influencers. So we have obviously a small budget. I've been bootstrapped this whole time. Wow. So the investment will really help us scale and increase our customers, direct to consumer, as well as wholesale.
Good for you.
Yep. Hi.
Yeah.
Love the designs. First of all, definitely got to get my hands on one of those dresses immediately. So I have a question, and it's about the brand. So I just did like a quick Google, and I would just love to hear, because when you have an eponymous brand and it's tied to you, so much of that is building up, the building blocks, the fundamental, what does the brand stand for, and not just visually, but when someone thinks of Kahindo, like what do they think? So I would love to hear you kind of articulate that. And then given that there seems to be, like, just when I look at Google and I see that so much pops up and populates, can you kind of enlighten, educate me on what other brand associations might exist that you might be kind of up against?
Yes, so we've gone through some rebranding, recently launched our new website, and I've been designing for about over 11 years. And when I decided to really rebrand and focus on sustainability, but not and I even hate to use that word sustainability because it's overused, but really ethical production and fair trade. And that was important to me because, not only being from Congo, but I wanted to give back, but in a way that the women could earn a fair living wage. So that's kind of the mission that's embedded, in my business. It's to make beautiful clothing, but also to make women only empower the woman who's wearing the pieces, but also the woman who's making the pieces. And then in terms, my internet connection is unstable. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, we can hear you. Actually, Kahindo, we're gonna have to go to the audience question.
Okay.
Just from the timing perspective. Great questions, Rochelle. How do you reach, this is from Jay, how do you reach out to a broader target to grow?
how do we reach out? I think, you know, our target market is, you know, we're all races. It is an older woman because of the price point, and the price point is as such because we do pay fair trade, you know, trade wages, and it's made in Africa, so shipping and all of that. And then it's wearable art, so the pieces feel like silk. So we just hope to use, you know, like the marketing budget to our distribution, as well as, you know, work with different retailers. So we're talking to the likes of like Saks and Matches Fashion to get our products seen by more women.
Amazing. Great work.
Thank you.
And now for the next founder, please share your screen, Miss Dia of Dia Bondi.
Great. Let me unmute myself and share my screen. So I came into this accelerator with the question of, how do I scale my mission that was an outcome of a project that I launched last year? And what you're hearing today is actually the answer to that question. So, can everybody hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, here we go. So last year, Lorena tweeted this at me. She said, I just asked like an auctioneer and I feel like I'm going to puke. See, Lorena, the week before, was in the very first workshop I ever delivered for a project I launched last year called Project Ask Like an Auctioneer, which is a project aimed at helping 1 million women ask for more and get it, using everything I learned from my midlife crisis hobby of auctioneering. She tweeted this at me a week later, and I knew exactly what she meant. She meant, I just asked like an auctioneer, and I feel like I'm doing something courageous. I'm standing up for my dream for myself. I'm asking for more so I can reach my goals faster. And that is why I call her Lorena the Brave. She decided that she was brave enough to treat asking for more not like a dirty word. And in a single year, she 2x'd her salary and she 3x'd her title. And now Lorena the Brave has brought more financial stability into her household to have a strong foundation. And she now runs all of recruiting for a gaming and AR company, a space that has traditionally been a little hostile towards women. And she's doing this as a single Latina mom. She owns the decisions that can change everything for all of us. And it's her and women like her that have produced my mission, which is to put more money and decision-making power in the hands of women so we can change everything for all of us. But Lorena's not the only one. There are millions of Lorena the Braves out there, and they are really on the move. They're graduating from college at faster rates than men. They're generating trillions of dollars of receipts of their own businesses, and they are more professional than ever now. And these are exactly the women that I want to accelerate. And these women, they tend to be overlooked because they present as confident and competent, and they are both of those things. But they're overlooked because they're not wringing their hands about what they want, where they want to go. They're wringing their hands, and often quietly and in a lone way, about how to get there as fast as possible, especially when they have to push up or break the gender expectations in order to do it, like asking for more and getting it. And that is why I want to give these women a place and also scale my mission through something I'm launching called the Get More Collective. The Get More Collective will be a paid community with a big purpose. We will bring together women who are ready for a level up to gather the confidence, strategies, and support to very specifically ask for more and get it, so we can make more money, own more decisions, and change everything for all of us. And very importantly, have a blast while we're doing it. The Get More Collective members will get a set of experiences around learning and ask strategy sessions and peer-to-peer connections and support I'm calling micro collections around the 4 content areas, the 4 pillars that I've noticed since launching Project Ask Like an Auctioneer. Women always end up needing to and wanting to ask for more of in order to fulfill their dreams: money, authority, influence, and balance. And when women have all 4 of those, collectively or in any order, it does change everything for all of us. We will launch with a small founding collective, and then 3 times a year, invite women who are on the wave list, not the wait list, because women aren't waiting, they're in the wave list, 3 times a year. And women will get on that wave list through word of mouth, through viral strategies, through being in the audiences for speaking workshops and PR appearances that I already have slated, and also through referral programs for women who already exist inside of the network. I'm Dia Bondi. I'm a longtime communications catalyst, and I'll take the 20 years of coaching and the thousands of stories women have told me about their experiences in their careers, along with my vast network for collaborating with and working with brands like these to help make sure that the women and the community are both successful, because we are all, and we all can be, Lorena the Brave. So you can join me in fulfilling my mission by getting on the wave list. If you are watching this on the live stream right now on YouTube, the link to get on the wave list should be dropped in there. If you want to follow the journey, you can get on my mailing list by just using this text here. And if this content is at all interesting to you and you run a women's community already, or you support women in through ERGs and other ways inside your organizations, and you want to talk about how we might partner or host a learning event around these ideas, you can reach out to me at hello@diabondi.com. I also just want to take a second to give a big shout out to Lorena the Brave, who right now is listening on our YouTube stream. And we all need to give her a lot of love, because I know in 2020 and 2021, she's heading into her next big rounds of big asks. Thanks.
You better show up for other women. That's what I'm talking about. Great work. Please unshare, show your beautiful face. All right, let's kick it off with Rochelle Judges. We'll have to limit it to 1 question per founder from timing perspective.
I'll make this quick. Wonderful presentation. Love what you're doing, and obviously so fitting for this audience of, as Alex would say, queens. So my question is, I'm just curious to hear about your revenue strategy, because any kind of membership business in itself, it is difficult to think about, like, how much can I charge? What's the willingness to pay? How do I keep people engaged? So if you could just give,
Yes.
a level on that. Clearly
That's
you've done the research. So.
That's a great question. So a handful of years ago, I got schooled in the world of open source. And so I'm using the principles of open source to actually co-create this concept. I already held 2 focus groups with a sample of women who have been in my audiences for Project Ask Like an Auctioneer and understand my mission and what I'm after, and people who are fans of this project. I brought 2 focus groups together, and I asked them the question around pricing. And I will, by the way, in the future, after, when I get closer to really making this ready, set for launch, I'll host a few more to continue to refine and make it right. So I'm co-creating with the community it'll serve. I got feedback from the women in those two focus groups that a monthly membership anywhere from $60 to $150 is what seems like. I mean, I didn't even give them choices. I just said, what might you pay for something like this? Where we went into a much more detailed perspective of what the experience would be, and et cetera. So $150 to $60 a month, recognizing that you could do an annual membership that gives you a discount, et cetera. But that was kind of the range. And when I think about what does it mean to scale to $1 million, at the $150 a month range, we're looking at needing 555 members to do an annual revenue of $1 million. At the $60 a month range, we're looking at 1,388 members to make $1 million revenue in a year. So I hope that answers your question.
Awesome.
The beauty of co-creating with your audiences, I'm telling you.
The only way.
I love it.
I'm sorry, I'll jump in. So you keep saying will. Does that mean that this is something that's yet to come, or
yes, yet to come?
Okay, so it's
that's
not
why
yet.
I brought
This
that
is
question. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, that was my question.
Sure.
I have the same questions Rochelle has.
Yeah. I mean, I came to the accelerator going, hey, I launched this project called Ask Like an Auctioneer. How do I even, I've been a one-on-one coach in really high stakes environments for communications, for high stakes leadership communications moments for 20 years. And so this is a new territory for me. And I was like, how do I think about scale? How do I scale this mission and touch as many women as possible? With Project Ask Like an Auctioneer, which started out as a book idea. the question then is, what are the other ways that these ideas inside of there play out, and how do we invite women in? And I had said 2 years ago, I'm not doing a community. And then as part of these conversations and being in conversations with other women who have touched the content around my project, I have a workshop called Your Most Powerful Ask Live, which is not just about how to ask like an auctioneer, but how do you use asking strategically in your career to make sure that you're not leaving up money and opportunity on the table. Because I find that asking is one of the most avoided and underestimated success strategies women have right at the tip of their tongue. So the answer was, how do I scale this? Looks like it's going to be through a community. And this community that I've imagined is the one that I could hold in my heart and work hard to scale.
Awesome. And from the audience, Carolyn, you answered the question about membership, and she asked, is this going to be an app?
I don't imagine it right now being an app. I mean, you know, I'll co-create with my community, and we don't know what it'll be, but it will leverage a community platform that we'll select that makes sure that it can be mobile, so it can go with you wherever you go.
Awesome. Great work. And our next founder, please share your screen. Jasmine of Spectrum Beauty.
Thanks, everybody.
Can you see my screen?
There you go. I was going to say, you're on mute. Great. Yep, we can see it.
I grew up hearing things like this over and over again. And my past is a strong case study in how many things can go wrong in a young woman's life when she moves through the world with low self-worth. From teenage homelessness, hanging around people who abused me verbally and physically, to finding a sense of purpose in life and the confidence to pursue my dreams. The beauty industry has more impact on women's self-esteem than any other, which is why I've decided to focus my efforts here. Since the very beginning, the beauty industry has thrived by creating insecurities in women, then exploiting them for profit. We deserve better. When girls don't feel good about the way they look, 7 in 10 will not be assertive in their opinion or stick to their decision. 8 in 10 teens have admitted to using Facetune before sharing their pics online. Facetune's parent company recently secured $135 million in Series C funding at a post-money valuation of $1 billion. So this crisis is clearly going to get worse unless the beauty industry steps up and fixes it. Spectrum is on a mission to redefine beauty standards so they're more ethical and inclusive. We are the world's first beauty brand to ban model retouching entirely. We feature people of varied ages, races, genders, abilities, and body types in our campaigns, so everyone who discovers Spectrum can feel a sense of acceptance and belonging here. Some or all of these terms are used by all major beauty brands today, despite the fact that they're all harmful. These values-aligned influencers are ready to collaborate with Spectrum and can help us reach millions of new people who are already receptive to our mission. We will also get the word out through creative partnerships like this one that we did with Panasonic last year. This Spectrum campaign was featured all across Europe, and the production and marketing budget for it were covered entirely by Panasonic. We've launched 2 products so far, including a nude lipstick range with Braille packaging. We consulted with American Foundation for the Blind and Bold Blind Beauty for this product's development, and once we raise, all Spectrum products will include Braille packaging. We also plan to expand our vision of inclusivity on the product development side by consulting with other underserved communities. To make Spectrum Beauty a household name, we will partner with major retailers, starting with online only and expanding into brick and mortar in post-pandemic times. Beauty is a high-growth industry currently valued at $532 billion. We have a strong team covering creative, product development, technology, operations, and manufacturing. I will be our CMO, and we're in the process of hiring a CEO with experience scaling a CPG company. Next steps include reformulating existing products to align with Gen Z values, expanding our brand ambassador program, and launching a new tech partnership to further support the blind and low vision community. We're currently seeking values-aligned investors so we can build out our product line, marketing efforts, and operations. Thank you.
Awesome job. Please unshare and show us your beautiful face. And let's start with Nicole. One question per judge, please.
So I again heard a lot of will. So is it true that you're just in the getting started phase, or you said you have 2 products? Are they in the market, and where are you with traction right now?
Great question. So we did an initial beta test with our foundation range, and we had no marketing budget. So we just sold through our organic Instagram posts and did thousands in sales from that. And we've just launched our lipstick, which admittedly is a tricky time when everyone's wearing masks during a pandemic, but we were already in product development before, and we just did a limited run to start. So fairly new.
That's great. Thank you.
I'd love to learn a little bit more about supply chain and costs. What do your margins on these products look like?
So right now, because I'm self-funded and our margins are higher because we can't meet those MOQs from a lot of the labs, we are working with the only cosmetic chemist who is willing to build a foundation range with us without me having to order thousands of units. She's right here in New York. So all of our manufacturing right now is within the US, but once we raise, we'll be able to expand and cut those costs.
I'd be curious to hear about just your vision for the product roadmap. Very curious to know kind of, I mean, probably just based on market size in terms of starting with foundation, but why you chose kind of lipstick as the next product, and then what do you see as kind of the next SKUs that will be added as you seek funding?
Absolutely. So I wanted to start with a product that most embodied the brand's values. So having an inclusive range of foundation was the starting point for me with that. There's only a handful of brands at this point still that offer inclusive nude ranges. So that was another hole in the market that we wanted to do our part to fill. And we are going to be expanding into skincare. I've already dreamed up a very innovative idea for our 3rd product in the acne patch space. And after that, it will depend on securing funding, but we're going to keep a balance between beauty products that are not oversaturated in the market and innovative skincare.
Awesome. Great work. You have a lot of people that are just talking about how awesome they think your mission is. So no questions from the audience because I think they're just looking at your products right now. So that's a great thing. Customers are important. Awesome. Great work, Jazz. And let's go to our next founder. Heather, please share your screen.
Okay. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
No, we just see you right now.
Whoop. Can everyone see?
Here it goes. There it is.
Yay. Okay. Hi, my name's Heather, and I am the CEO of Epsomint. Whoop. Epsomint is focused on solving the pain problem in America. 1 in 3 Americans now experience chronic pain, more than those who have cancer, heart disease, and diabetes combined. Specifically, we're focused on the 30 million Americans that suffer from peripheral neuropathy, which is painful damaged nerves in their hand, feet, and ankles. Within this market, there are few natural topical pain relief solutions. The goal of Epsomint is to bring the 300-year healing history of Epsom salts to consumers in an easy-to-use, powerful lotion. We are all natural, powerful, and provide deep pain relief through our magnesium sulfate active ingredient. We are strategically aligned across 3 key markets, the major one being the topical pain relief market valued at $3 billion, the Epsom salt market valued at $300 million, and the peripheral neuropathy market valued at $600 million. We see a large opportunity to compete in the topical pain management market, given the lack of competitors with our active ingredient, magnesium sulfate. These are our products. We have 2 key lines, a muscle recovery lotion and a nerve pain relief lotion. Our nerve pain product sells for $25 with a cost of $5 per bottle for us to make it. Our muscle recovery lotion sells for $15 a bottle with a cost of $3.50 to make the bottle. Our products are based on the original Epsom salt formula, but have slightly different ingredients and slightly different consumers. Our nerve pain relief product sells to a slightly older consumer. Why Epsom outperforms the other? We are focused on being greaseless and fragrance-free, natural, easy and convenient application. We have millions of satisfied users. We have unique concentrated Epsom salt formula, and we're fortified with arnica, capsicum, and aloe vera. What makes us unique? Our first and key one is our natural magnesium sulfate-based formula. It is patent pending, and most of our competitors are BioFreeze and Icy Hot, or menthol-based with like BioFreeze or Icy Hot, or lidocaine, which is aspartame based. Our formula was originally private labeled by Morton Salt and sold 100 million plus bottles in 2017. Epsom started under the same formula in 2018 when Morton Salt exited the consumer products business. We are focused on a practical solution. We're Epsom salt without the bath. We have a high ability for repeat purchases. My partners and I, my chemist and my co-partner, have 70 plus years of experience in the corporate world of consumer products across sales, marketing, and product development. Lastly, we're a niche market focus. We are specifically going after the peripheral neuropathy market. Traction to date. In 2019, Epsom did 60,000 in sales with this one product, muscle recovery lotion. In 2020, we're on track to hit 400K in revenue with 2 product lines. Our revenue from our original muscle recovery lotion will be 2.5x what it was last year. Our Amazon sales have doubled since June. We are now targeting 10K per month on one product. Our nerve pain relief product launches September 1st. We're achieving a 5x return on ad spend on Amazon for July and August. We soft launched our nerve pain relief product in June to 25K in revenue to date. Our Facebook and advertising hasn't even started yet. And to date, we have received 250,000 international wholesale orders with a potential for 400K. Here's how we plan to meet our exact number by the end of the year with additional marketing focus, as well as new product development, primarily in the CBD and rollerball space. The ask for us is we're looking for strong strategic partners and advisors with omni-channel brand growth experience. We're in a strong financial position, but always open to conversations. And lastly, please stay in touch.
Awesome. Thank you, Heather. Great work. Please unshare your screen, show us your beautiful face. And let's start with Nicole.
What's your story? Why are you helping people with their pain?
Yeah,
why do you care?
So I am a chronic pain sufferer myself. So I've had 12 jaw surgeries and complete facial reconstructive surgery.
Oh my gosh.
I am a firm believer from my personal experience in pain as a managed lifestyle experience. And there are very few alternatives that are all natural and not super heavy pharmaceutical drugs. I work really closely and have maintained strong relationships in the integrated pain space. I wanted to be a doctor in my life, but unfortunately, because of my personal experience, that was out of the cards. My hands would go numb looking at a book. So I kind of entered the space through products.
Heather, that was the best part of your whole presentation. That was everything. You could have skipped the deck and looked in the camera and told us that story. Yeah. I mean, that's everything right there. And that's what everyone cares about, is why. I don't think an entrepreneur can be successful unless they're solving a problem that they've had personal experience in. And look at you, look at your face lit up, your eyes changed, your voice changed when you told that story. It's everything. That's your traction right there.
Yeah, I get it.
That's awesome. I mean, adding anything on top of that, like that's like the best piece of I'm sure you probably get. Like any business question sounds like crazy at this point, but I do love like your passion in hearing your story, very touching. And I agree with you 100%, Nicole, like that, the founder market fit that people talk about is really about knowing the founder and their why. So thank you for sharing that with us. And my business question was really to understand, because you laid it out so well for us in terms of the traction you've received so far. So which of the many distribution channels do you believe is going to be most critical as you scale up? Because obviously you have
a full
So
plate
my
there.
partner was vendor of the year at Walmart and Target. So we have really extensive relationships with Walmart and Target. So when we get to that point, we're managing kind of supply and demand and cash flow to get there. This year, we've exceeded our sales by way more than we thought, and it's really been a learning year. But the other thing that I have found really interesting is the international opportunity with topical pain management products. Our specific label on the nerve pain relief is really designed to be simple. Literally, I was really like, I wanted a 50, 60, 7-year-old to not need glasses to read it. And it turns out it's also accidentally translated really well to be understood well in the international scene. So a lot of accounts from Mexico, Brazil. I mean, we get reached out every single day from a lot of Latin American countries and Europe as well now. So it's saved us money on advertising, frankly, because we have just taken some of those orders because they're coming in quickly.
Awesome. Thank you.
No additional questions for me. I think Rochelle and Nicole covered everything really, really well. And I just want to echo the sentiment that, yeah, the story definitely really highlights the founder market fit. And I think even as a judge makes you rethink about the company in a different way in terms of how extensive the problem is and how it affects people's lives.
Yeah. You had, I mean, the audience, like you chat lit up as soon as you told your story. So even our founders were like, that's the first time I heard that. And they've been with you for 7 weeks.
I have 40 screws, 12 plates, cheek implants, and chin implants. And I had my mouth wired shut for 1.5 years.
Heather, why are you not starting with this? Oh my gosh, you're like an expert, unfortunately.
All my doctors are invited to my wedding, if that makes you feel any better.
And the great thing is she's gone through all this pain and she always has a smile on her face. A question from audience, from Carolyn. She suffers a sulfate allergy. Can she use your product?
Nope, sorry.
Nope. I like the honesty because some people try to sell for no reason. And
sorry. You're not our customer, but you are one of the few because most people don't have that. We do cater to a lot of people that have magnesium sulfate deficiencies. So there's a lot of medical conditions, such as like Gittleman's or kidney issues, where we are a topical solution for ingestible magnesium versus uningestible. So people get their magnesium through our creams versus taking pills, which we like. And they like better on your stomach.
You have a request if you can raise up your product again, and someone says they think they already have it on their Amazon wish list.
Yeah. So here's our product. This is one. This is our second one. And our nerve pain relief launches in 2 weeks on Amazon. So you'll see it. It's available now on our website. And people are definitely ordering it because I've gotten a bunch of orders while this Zoom has been going on.
I love it. That's what we're here for. I love it. Great work. Thank you, Heather. And certainly, last but certainly not least, is Oksana from Easy Loads. And just so everyone knows, as we're preparing for this last pitch and you have your questions, please stay around because we are going to ask you for you to input your people's choice, and then we will announce it, and then we will wrap up. You will also get the information on all these founders so you can connect. Oksana.
So let's do it. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Hi. Do you know what determines why we pay for a pack of strawberries? One day it's $2.99 a pack, next day it's $8.99 a pack. So why would we pay more for the same goods if we could pay less? The answer to that is the shipping costs. The price difference comes from the inefficiencies in the logistics industry. The cost to ship a truckload of strawberries from LA to Chicago could be anything from $3,000 to $9,000. Guess what? Shipping cost inefficiencies are passed on to consumers. Logistics is a massive industry, yet there are so many inefficiencies due to the lack of automation, digital integrations, traceability, and transparency. How do I know that? I worked for a trucking company. I owned the trucking company. I served trucking clients as a CPA. Being in the industry for 13 years, I could always see and feel all the inefficiencies. But the moment when I realized that the true reason why was when I started working with multiple trucking clients. I realized that there was simply no appropriate technology to automate the industry. All available products were too outdated, archaic dinosaurs that are too expensive. It's $1 trillion freight industry. 80% of it is trucking. There are 900,000 carriers. This is when we created Easy Loads. Our vision was to create an affordable and easy to use technology that will revolutionize the logistics industry. Easy Loads is a web-based, intuitive, the most affordable solution to manage and automate a complex business. Our product has all these beautiful internal features. However, Easy Loads is not just an internal software. It's an ecosystem that connects all the industry players. Thus, it creates the entire market efficiency. We offer 3 packages based on the company size. On top of our SaaS model, we earn revenue from various value add-ons. We estimate that an average monthly total per user is $275. Alex is my brother and co-founder. He's a software engineer. He was the lead engineer for DollarShaveClub.com, a company that was sold for $1 billion. Just in July, our growth rate was 180%. With the current team, we can't keep up with all the traction we have. The initial idea was just to provide a tool for smaller companies that run their business on paper and spreadsheets. However, once we saw that larger companies were willing to switch from other products, we knew that we built something really great. We are fundraising $500K to scale Easy Loads very quickly so that all of us could pay less for all the goods we buy. Thank you.
Awesome. Way to bring it home. Thank you, Oksana. And judges, let's start with Rochelle. And audience, have your questions ready for Miss Oksana as well.
Hi, yes. So I'm curious, just so I can better understand that the profile of your customer. You mentioned that initially you thought it'd be a tool for smaller companies, and now you're seeing traction elsewhere. So can you just define that a bit? And if there's a particular industry, as you think about the shipping of goods, clearly that's a huge market. So industry, vertical, or whatever, what way that you kind of think of the matrix of your customer segments. I'd love to hear where you see the most opportunity.
So our product is specifically for trucking companies. So there are 900,000 trucking companies up there. However, 95% of trucking companies are smaller companies. It's a huge industry. However, it's comprised of smaller carriers. All right. So that's why it was our main target audience. But what's interesting that once we saw that pretty much anybody who used any other platforms, larger companies, were willing to switch to our product, we knew that we are the best of, as of right now in the market.
My question's around sales cycle. How long is the average sales cycle?
Quickly and instantly. So as of right now, the onboarding process is not completely automated because we need a little bit of support for our users until they fully get on board with our product, but we are working on it so that process will be completely automated for them. But yeah, so the sales cycle is just instant.
Awesome.
This is super exciting for me. It just resonates with me and my whole supply chain logistics background. So I'd love to talk again, like everyone afterwards, because I have ideas like crazy. Question is there a world where you could, have you ever talked to UPS Ventures or anyone at UPS Supply Chain Solutions?
No, however, as I mentioned, so Easy Loads is an ecosystem that connects all the industry players. Right. So as of right now, we are working on creating all these integrations, and clearly all that supply chain is a part of the game. Yes.
Right. UPS Ventures funds companies that you wouldn't think that seem like they might be competitive or is counterintuitive, but I would check them out because, and they do the 250 to 500 size. They funded a company called Rody that you'd think, why would they fund this company? It's like actually working against them. But that was just my question. And it makes sense. Your answer makes sense. Why not to? But I would check them out. And I know the guy who runs the fund, so I'd be happy to make an introduction.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's awesome.
And then from our audience, Nomsa, question for you, Oksana, is how have the supply chain disruptions caused by COVID affected or impacted or improved your business?
It definitely improved. It improved because due to the fact that a lot of companies had to just send everybody home, they realized that they needed a better system in place. They realized that they have to switch from just paper and spreadsheets into something, that will give them way more efficiency.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Wow. All of those pitches were amazing. I'm proud of everyone. And thank you so much to our judges. Thank you to our audience for being so lit as always, because that chat is giving me life. I get to peek in a couple moments here and there. So now what we're going to do is we are going to allow the judges to kind of scan over their numbers, make sure that everything is where they want it to be. And then also the audience, Amora on my team right now is going to link to the People's Choice Awards. So we need your help in selecting your favorite pitches. And then we'll reconvene here back in 3 minutes. So that is 1:52 Pacific time. And then we will announce the winners. And again, thank you so much. And we will see you in just a moment. Just a moment, everyone. Great work, though. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Technical difficulties. Again, want to thank everyone for coming out. Thank you so much to our judges for your time and your energy, the amazing questions and feedback. To our network of incredible, 200 plus experts and mentors, whether that is seasoned entrepreneurs who have scaled, investors, corporate badasses. Thank you so much for pouring into our founders. And also the audience, thank you so much for your time and energy today and keeping it lit. So I want to announce the winners real quick. So the judges' choice, the first time in history, probably one of the highest scores we've had, drum roll, is Kahindo. Congrats, she won the judges' vote. And for our People's Choice Award, went to Miss, hold on real quick so I don't get this wrong. Hold on. Miss Brittany Hell from B&D Consulting. Amazing work, everyone. Every founder here did such incredible work. I don't think you guys understand how much they do in terms of sacrificing for this accelerator. It is a lot of fucking work on top of their full-time job and their other jobs as just being humans and trying to navigate a freaking pandemic. So I applaud them. I am in awe of them every single day. In terms of what's next, how to connect, we will be sending everyone information on how you can connect with these founders. I know there was a lot of outstanding questions. Please connect with them. We are all about traction. So if you heard a pitch today, you saw a founder and you're like, I love what you're doing, support her. Like at the end of the day, we cannot rise if we are not doing it together, even if that's a quick intro, even if it's a kind note. If something came to mind to you, make sure to reach out to her so you can help her accelerate her traction even further. In terms of how you can stay connected with Get Shit Done, you can stay connected with us by going to shegetshitdone.com. That's where you can learn more about our accelerator. We're launching our next cohort, our final cohort for the year, or fall cohort, in October. We already have a good amount of applicants for that, but we're going to make it public soon. And then we have a membership wait list for our membership community that we're building out here. And then on top of that, our show, the way to get connected and hear about other badass founders and get notes. One of the things we hear so often about our show is that I just took so many notes and it got my life. We focus more on how someone actually scaled, and do a good balance of not just story, but actually how the hell did you actually do that thing? If you talked about acquiring those customers, tell me how you did it so I don't have to go to Google, because Google's your frenemy. It's just facts. So thank you guys again so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, your week, and we will see you again next time. Awesome.